Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Wallsend history story. This week, as you can see, I'm outside again. Well, it's actually the same day as I was outside in the last video, but I just thought that I would do this little video. I'm not sure that I'm actually going to use it. I'm just going to try it and see how it goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk down the steps towards the bottom of the hall grounds to near the bottom of Church Bank. But the reason I've started here is because on the video that I did where I walked up to the pillars from the Burnside, I didn't actually come right up to them and sort of do that so that you could see how high up they were. So I thought I would put that into the start of this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk down here and we're going to head down to the little bridge over the stream at the bottom of Crow Bank. Now the steps are, they're okay, but I'm not particularly good on steps, but we've just got to remember that I've got to hold the camera, talk, and look where I'm going. It's never an easy task. I'm not good at doing that. I could have walked down the side and away from the steps. But as I say, I just thought I would try this. I don't know that I'm actually going to use it because there's nothing really much to see. It's just a little walk down, and I feel like I'm walking like Bambi on ice, but I might actually come off the steps and walk down the bank. It might actually be easier. Yeah, it is. I don't have to look where I'm stepping. So it's a lovely place, the whole grounds, and there's actually lots of little places where you can go and walk. It's not all just the main path along by the stream, because obviously that takes you, if you go back up the steps that I've just come down, that takes you to the back of the hall. But also halfway down, you can see there is another path there that goes right the way along and comes out at the steps near the Humpty Back Bridge, as I like to call it. So, there's quite a few different areas where you can walk. So I'll just wander along this one a little bit so that you can see over the top. You can't really see over the top because there's an awful lot of nettles. You can see some of the trees there that have come down in the various different storms. Some of them are quite large, and when you actually go and have a look at them, you can see just how old and worn out they were, because there's quite a lot of damage to them. Some of them, when you get close enough to them, you can actually see a lot of woodworm. A lot of them seem to have woodworm. Woodworm's quite common in old trees, but you can just about see the bridge through the gap there. So, like I say, it's a lovely little place to walk. It's a nice little area, and it's often, as I've said before, it's quite hard to believe that it's in the middle of such a big town, because I mean, Wallsend is a really big place. So we're gonna go down the last lot of steps and come out at the stream. Now over there, which I kind of can't really see, there's a little footpath that runs through, but I don't really think I'm going to walk along it. I'm just going to walk over to it. There's a little footpath that runs through. Actually, I am going to walk along it. That is one heck of a big tree that's come down there as well. So this was probably the first time that I've been into this part of the whole ground since I was a kid. So this would have been where I would have walked down when I was a child, because over there through the trees, and I'm going to zoom up and see how well it comes off, is the wall for Crow Bank. And this would have been where I would have walked down when I was a kid, and I would have walked right down and gone down there, and I would have actually come out at the bottom. But I cannot do that now, because if I walk down there now, all I'm going to do is come out straight into the water. And I didn't fancy that much. But this is where I would have walked down when I was a kid, and you can actually see when I'm right. It feels like I'm in the middle of a forest, but I'm not. you can actually see where you could have walked down once before, but it's all really overgrown now because nobody's been able to walk down here for years. But I used to do it all the time when I was a kid, and it was much less trees and things then, and it was quite an interesting way to come down rather than coming down straight down the bank, because I used to come down and you could see all the wildlife. There was often the occasional bird's nest and thing like that, but I mean, obviously I only ever looked at them. I wasn't an egg collector. But it is quite a big tree. So I'm going to come back out now and we're going to walk down to the water, and hopefully we might even see some wildlife. Probably just be a rat. Every time I'm down here I only ever see rats. I know lots of people who come down here and they take lots of fabulous wildlife photos, and I come down sometimes to have a look in the hope of getting some fabulous wildlife photos, and all I ever see is rats. I never see anything exciting. So this is the stone steps that are a little bit easier to come down. So where I was before, where I said I used to walk down, it would have brought us out kind of down there. And if you can see through the trees, because I don't know whether you can, because I know that I can see it, but I'm looking at it in a different way. You can just see like some metal railings, which is the part of the weir that goes through and into the burn itself. Well, that is now all just water and you can't walk down into that, but that is where I would have come out when I was a kid, because this part of the water wasn't as wide, it was just a smaller part. So we're coming down now to the little bridge that goes across the water, which was known as the weir in the Hall grounds. Now there is a key, a carved key in the tree up there. Yeah, my chances of zooming in on that are really, really slim because I can't see it, and I don't know whether that's showing up at all. It is probably not. But there is a carved tree in a carved tree. Oh my God, there is a carved key in the tree up there, and further up that way in a tree, there is a little door with a keyhole in it. Obviously, the key's not going to fit, but originally it was set up so that there was a walk that the kids could do looking for all the various different carvings. But unfortunately, over the years, some of them have been lost in the undergrowth, and some of them because they were on trees that had collapsed or been damaged and things like that. So they were on stumps and things like that. Some of them have deteriorated a little bit more over time. And there was one where it was kind of like an upside down pirate and he had a wooden leg. Well, unfortunately, even his wooden legs fell off, so you can't really do the little walk anymore. So we're now walking over the bridge. Now, this bridge was completely rebuilt because for quite a long time it just wasn't here at all. The stone pillars were here, but there was nothing else. But it's been completely rebuilt and it looks exactly the same as the old one, because I did have a photo of me standing on the old one, and later on I had one taken quite a few years later, standing on the new one. So there is a little bit of wildlife for you. There is Mrs. Duck sitting on her nest. So I saw that nest earlier. So, and like I say, it's so much like you feel like you're in the countryside. I've said this before. It is such a lovely place. And on this side is the weir. Now, unfortunately, obviously tree branches come down and they do gather up, but there's quite a few stuck in the weir at the bottom, but that is just one of those things. And you can probably see the occasional little fish. But unfortunately, some people seem to think that you can actually go fishing here. However, you can't. They're not the kind of fish that you want to catch. And then apart from anything else, they are just generally the wildlife of the area. So you shouldn't really be attempting to fish them out. And yes, as I said before, the wildlife that I'm going to see, which I can't film, but because it's too far away, but the wildlife I was expecting to see over by the weir is a great big rat. So I never fail to spot a rat. But rats are just part of nature as well. At the end of the day, they've always been here, and you're always going to have rats. So I know a lot of people complain about them, but there's always going to be rats. Everywhere you go, there's rats. And I've actually once or twice I've seen them swimming in there, which is kind of cool. But that is quite a big one. Luckily enough, I'm not in the slightest bit bothered by rats. I actually used to have a pet mouse, so rats and mice don't bother us. So, like I say, this was just a sort of extra little video. I don't even know if I'll use it. I might do. I'll see what it sounds like when I get home and play it back and see if it sounds okay. And I might use it. And as I've often said on the videos, and I haven't said on the other two that I've actually recorded today, I don't know what order I'll put them on in. But hopefully you have seen the other two from the whole brands that I've done recently as well. And I've actually got quite a few more that I want to try and get filmed outside while the weather's nice. I'm hoping to try and get up to the rising sun. I'm hoping to try and get to Biggs's Main because you can't get up there with a car anymore. So I'm hoping to get quite a few more outdoor ones done so that you can get a good old look at the area and any little bits of history that there is, and just generally see the place if you don't live here anymore and you want to see what it's like now. That's kind of what I do these for. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this short little video. And oh, just before I go, there's a teeny tiny little ladybird. So I hope I do get so easily sidetracked. I do hope that you have enjoyed this short little video, and I do thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again next week.